UMAR AHMED, IFL TV, MTK Global. I'm at your call, joined by Dylan Whyte's brother, or baby ting, or whatever.
Whatever you want to call me, man, it's all good. What are you saying?
Good. You went out to the States, didn't you, with Dylan?
Yeah.
How was it?
It was nice out there, man. We got a very good reception out there, you know. They welcomed us, which was good to see. All the hard work what we've been doing here, and we've been putting in, it's transcended across the Atlantic, and everyone was coming up, talking, and he was getting a lot of interviews, and it was just interesting, you know what I mean?
We know, obviously, here that Dylan's popularity has risen a lot. What's it like in America? No,
it's definitely, what it is the Americans, they like that brash, cocky talking, a lot of smoke talking, you know what I'm saying? So he's a fighter that talks a lot. Not as much nowadays as it was before, but he still talks. He's quite confident. And then he backs it up by these devastating knockouts. So that's what they like. Heavyweight boxing, spectacular knockouts, and yeah.
Since the Chisora fight, obviously all the talk's been about a potential rematch with Anthony Joshua. It's not going to obviously happen now. What do you make of firstly Joshua Miller as a fight?
Well, listen, it's a business. I don't know what kind of tactics they were using. With the fight with my bro, I don't believe they ever wanted that fight because the lowball offer, you know what I mean? As you can see, I think that was one of them, those ones where you make an offer which we're going to reject because it's not, if you know your value and you know your worth, that's going to be rejected, and then you make out like, well, I've offered him the fight, he's turned it down, I'm moving on to greater pastures kind of thing. So then he goes over to the States, and then they offer Miller what? 10 million US, 8 million US? Same money they could have offered Dylan. You know what I mean? So who brings pay-per-view numbers? He sells out his own show. You've gone and fought a guy who's done neither, doesn't sell any tickets, does no numbers. He's not known at all really in the US, or maybe in his own neighborhood a little bit. He's never held his own show, but don't take anything away from him. He's an undefeated fighter, and I understand the move in terms of a business strategy because they want to get the marketing tool. If Joshua beats him and gets a great knockout, then they can use that as a bargaining tool for Deontay Wilder. So they've gone there, they've built the profile as they will try to be doing, and then they could say, look, well, we're actually quite known. We've sold out a show here, and so on and so forth. I believe that's their tactic, but they never wanted a fight in the first place. It was just a gimmick, it was a ploy to distract and say, well, listen, Dylan Whyte doesn't want to fight. We've offered him a bit of money, and they just dangled the carrot, and it was bollocks, isn't it? And that's what these people do. But it's all good. He's going to fight Miller. It should be interesting. I think AJ beats him, but if Miller can take AJ's power, it could be interesting because AJ does get tired, and Miller is actually a workhorse. As you've seen, he can work for 12 rounds, tirelessly, throwing his hands and so on. So it's going to be interesting in that fight. But I believe AJ is the superior athlete, and he's the world champion for a reason. So I think he'll go out there and destroy him.
It's interesting saying about Dylan, they never offered him a realistic offer. It's sort of similar to what Wilder and Team Fury say when they talk about a potential fight with Joshua as well.
It seems a lot of people are saying he likes to undercut a lot of these guys and not pay them their value and their worth. I understand in terms of who is the A side, so I get it. He's saying he's the A side, he's got all the belts, he's holding all the aces. Correct. But then at the same time, you got to appreciate what each individual fighter's value is and what their worth is and what they bring to the table. What you got to look at is Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury is well known, but he doesn't really do great numbers, sell-out show. I think he's only had, I don't know if that is his first or second pay-per-view event.
Klitschko was on pay-per-view.
Yeah, so Klitschko, and then so that's his second pay-per-view show. I don't think it done that great in America in terms of maybe the views on Sky did okay or wherever it was, broadcasted BT. But I don't think in the arena, I don't believe they sold out. That's what I was told anyway. So, and then back to Deontay Wilder, he only can sell out in Alabama. So it's interesting when you look at what you say these people's worth is. So everyone knows their worth. I believe, maybe if you don't want to give them 50-50, you could give them, maybe 35 or 30, something. I don't know. I'm not into the figure game, but I'm just hindsight and thinking what could be what. You know what I'm saying?
Just picking this back up. Yeah, you're talking about figures. from my understanding, Dylan was actually happy with the offer, the revised offer or the third offer, but it was the rematch clause that was the issue.
Yeah, I heard that. I believe. What did they say? Let me try and remember. I think yes, I think I remember. So if he won, AJ would still get the bigger person. Be in charge of some sort.
He wouldn't get the lion's share, Dylan, in a rematch.
Of course, yeah, which didn't make any sense anyway. You know, so I think that was a case with Tony Bellew and David Hay in the first one. I think Tony Bellew said he would accept this, and if he won, in return, we'd switch the tables, and yeah.
But Dylan's on his own path now. Obviously, the WBC ordered him against Breazeale.
Yeah.
Good fight.
Very good fight. Very good fight. Dominic Breazeale, I was actually watching him earlier. I was doing a bit of cardio in the gym, and I was just doing a bit of homework watching him. He's a very, very tough guy, you know. He's a very tough customer. I remember the fight with, do you know, it's quite funny. What I look at is, when AJ caught him, he's still relatively learning his trade and so on. He caught him, he took a savage beating in that, you know, like a savage beating. He's there to be hit. He's a big guy, he swings for the rafters, but he's quite slow. But he uses his jab here and there. But I think he's actually a better fighter now. He's more experienced, he's more seasoned. He's had a lot of adversities since then, and being dropped in the Mansour fight, being dropped in the Ngannou fight. So I feel he's a lot more seasoned now, and I think it might have helped him if he had all that experience going into the Joshua fight. But Joshua is a good champion, and he's done what he's meant to. He's gone out there and destroyed him as he's meant to do. But I think it's an interesting fight. I think, you know, he's there to be hit. What my bro doesn't want to do is underestimate him, which he never does in any fight anyway. He doesn't underestimate any opponents. He lives the life, he trains a lot. So in this fight, I think he's gonna, you know, do the same, train as usual, give it the respect and warrant what it deserves, and he'll go out there and he should get a devastating knockout also. But that Dominic Breazeale is tough, but he's also open. You know what I mean? I think sometimes I was looking at it and I was wondering if he's moving in slow motion sometimes, because he is, listen, if you watch that, he flings a lot of big shots, and the guys, if they easily step back and then they can counter him, a lot of, you know, it's easier said than done, but I'm saying, I'm just watching what I saw, and initially the guys were catching him, but he done excellent to get off the counter and get the stoppage with Ngannou, because he was getting lit up like Guy Fawkes.
What's your gut instinct? Do you think it'll go purse bids?
Let's see what good old Eddie's going to do, if he's going to get his wallet out, get your bag out and make the right bid, and let's have it here in the UK at the O2 again in the summer, and give the English fans what they want to see. They want to see great knockouts, excitement. They want to hear the music. They want to hear the ring walk song, all here, so we can, you know, we can do great numbers here. You know what I mean? This is the home of boxing, or heavyweight boxing right now, you know what I mean? And our home is O2, so it'd be great if Dylan could, you know, Eddie could pull the checkbook out, get the fight, get it done here, and it'd be great. If not, we go on the road, we go to America, because PBC is going to be bidding for it as well, and maybe other people. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. So there's a lot of fights coming, so I think it will be a little bit down the line, because if you look at it, you're going to have the rematch with Fury and Wilder in May. Then you've got Joshua and Miller on June the 1st. So if you're looking at the queue, instead of backlogging the fans with 2 close fights and pressuring their pockets and their family and so on, and I think it might be pushed back to late summertime. So it gives everyone a good time to have a great long camp, 12-week camp, and be in the best shape they can be in.
Are you slightly concerned that, you know, Dylan's got to beat Breazeale first, but if he does, that's the final eliminator? Are you slightly concerned though that the winner of Wilder Fury and the winner of Joshua Miller, they'll make an exception for the undisputed fight?
It is a possibility. Listen, he's been there waiting for a long time. For me, I think I don't want to overlook Breazeale or anything like that.
No.
That's a tough fight. We've got a tough guy that we've got to get through in the summertime. But if that is the case, that is what they'll do. Because, and I don't know if I'd say rightly so or whatever, because obviously what they're looking at is they want to make these unified fights, and they want to make this undisputed fight where they're saying people have been waiting for this a long time, and all these negotiations. Who knows if the negotiations are going to be able to be done, and Joshua give these guys a part of the pie what they deserve. remember, he's the champ. He thinks, listen, I can fight anybody and get this purse. Look, he's on a career high purse of 32 USD, you know, fighting Miller, which Miller, I don't even, was he mandatory in, yeah, so he was nowhere in the picture. He was just someone he plucked from somewhere, wherever he was, the big old guy from the Burger Shack in New York, and he said, I'm going to fight this guy. And it's quite weird that Eddie offered over the odds for him, and they didn't want to do that for Dill. Just going back, went back. Sorry about that. But yeah, it's I believe they could do that if Joshua wins and what they believe he's going to win. I believe they're going to pursue that because they think, well, they've beaten Dylan. We don't need to fight Dylan again at this stage. Maybe after the Wilder fight, if he's still undefeated, if he's still on his path going and doing what he's in, then we'll come to that. You know, so at the minute, I hear what he's saying. They're saying the guys at the top are undefeated is Wilder and Fury, and those are the guys he's aiming for. But to aim for those guys, you have to give them their values worth. You know, and the same is with Dylan. If that fight doesn't materialize and you don't give him what the value is worth, that fight may never happen. And then we've got to go in a different direction. But the direction we're going is for the WBC. So really, we should be next in line for the winner of those two. But like you said, the governing bodies could say, hey, this takes priority. We're going to go here. And that's the way it's going to go. I'm sure, yeah, I don't think we'll be too happy with that. But listen, it's part and parcel of what you've got to deal with in this game with these.
To be honest, the WBC may say, no, the winner of Wilder Fury has to fight Dylan Whyte if he beats Breazeale.
That'd be great.
Which freezes potentially Joshua out.
Again. And I think he's been freezed out with these, especially with this Wilder and Fury rematch. I know he's been upset because he hasn't been able to dictate, and him saying he's put in numerous offers and they're not accepting it and so on. But I think Fury said he just wants a flat fee, and he's happy with that. He doesn't want any splits or anything like that, nothing to do with pay-per-view. And that's his right if that's what he wants. He just probably wants to know what he's going to get, no fannying about, and it's just done. But I'm sure Wilder's not in that position. He's saying, listen, homie, I've knocked out 39 people, or is it 39 and 41 fights?
Well, he's knocked out 40 anyway, which Stavani knocked out. Yeah.
So I think he's saying, listen, I deserve to get a big slice of the pie. But in terms of what you bring to the table, I don't believe he brings that much in terms of he doesn't sell out arenas, he doesn't do that much pay-per-view fights. The only reason he done well is because he was against Tyson Fury, and I thought he done that because he believed he was catching Fury at the right time, you know, coming off such a layoff, and because he's coming off mental health issues, drug issues, and he thought, maybe, listen, I'm going to catch this guy lacking. His body is probably, because of the weight cut, you know, he may have felt that he was not going to be in the great shape, and he done fucking, you know, excellent. We've got to give him his kudos. He's done well, and congratulations to him and that. And now he's come back, and I think he's going to be in even a better position now. So Wilder's even in more trouble. So listen, we're going to see. Maybe he might just come out and let his hands go from the early round because he knows Fury can't hurt him. But back to Joshua, who knows? He's still got to get through Miller, and that's still a pretty tough fight. Miller does seem like he's a big old lump, 300 and something pounds. He lets his hands go, and he looks like he can take a bit of punching. So, come during the first, all of these answers will, you know.
Yeah, exciting time. Just lastly, obviously you got your own management thing going on now?
Yeah, Black Box Management. Yeah. So yeah, I'm here today at the Youth Hall, just seeing what's going on with some of the talent that's out there. I think who's fighting? I come to watch Samuels and
Antwi and Jed Smith.
Yeah,
Southern area.
So that's an interesting fight. I know that Samuel from South London is a South London lad. I got a couple of my guys in there, and hopefully I'd like to have a word with the promoter, you know, just to see what's going on with I don't know what he's up to, that geezer. He's mad.
One too many.
Yeah, so yeah, it's interesting. It's a good night here. It seems lively.
All right, D, always a pleasure catching up with you.
Thanks very much again.
And baby team.
No doubt.